I mean, I'm already streaming. Okay. Well, welcome, folks, to a bit of a train wreck of a YouTube reaction uh, stream, which is game one of the Baltimore Orioles versus the Texas Rangers. I'm sorry. Hopefully, this stream could be found by somebody now. Wow. That's difficult. This is the first time I set up a stream to start at a later time. And it looked like the stream started. All right, let's see if I'm on now. I'll be right with you folks. Yes, I run a YouTube channel that normally doesn't do this sort of thing. So if you're a current subscriber, this might not be the content you're looking for, but I'm calling the Orioles-Rangers game. And indeed, I am live now. Fantastic. So, you missed an inning and a half of baseball. And I'm going to miss an inning and a half of baseball, I guess. But, wow, so much information I've put out, and all of it for nothing. This ball's hit deep to right center and two. The Taveras and Garcia converging. Garcia making the play to retire Jordan Westberg, who gave that ball a drive to the opposite field, and the Orioles are down. So, yeah, let me go ahead and do my best to try and reestablish. Obviously, for a live stream scenario, this has been an absolute train wreck. But I'm also making this stream for posterity, for my own collection, because I want to document the Orioles postseason. And I live quite far away from Baltimore, about 12 time zones away to be in fact. So it's about 10 minutes till 2 in the morning where I am. And I'm not going to find another person within 10,000 miles of me to watch this game with. So, hey, maybe watching this game on my live stream might bring in some folks. But yeah, unfortunately, I do have a plan to branch out with a second channel covering sporting events like this. So I'm doing a bit of a test run doing this. That's why it's still on my regular channel, which isn't usually for sports. So it's to be expected I would have some sort of tech issue. So, to summarize what has happened up till now that I appear to be streaming live on YouTube, is that the Orioles and Rangers are scoreless after 2. But the story so far is that Kyle Bradish looks absolutely fantastic. Struck out 5 batters, 5 of the first 6 outs coming via the punch out, and very, very dominating looking stuff. He did give up a 2-out double in the first to Robbie Grossman. He was able to hit a pretty hard line drive inside the bag at first down the right field corner. But Bradish retired Garcia next rather easily with a strikeout. Then to lead off the second inning with the red-hot Evan Carter at the plate, Bradish didn't throw anything in the zone. He completely pitched around this 19-year-old, how was it, 20-year-old kid? I don't think he's old enough to drink. But, yeah, the Orioles paid the ultimate respect and pretty much just put him on base to lead off the inning with a walk. And it worked because the next 3 batters were all struck out. Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, and Josh Young. Meanwhile, for the Orioles, they also have a hit. That was from Anthony Santander, a 2-out single in the first. And they were retired 3 up, 3 down in the second. So there you are, all caught up, or at least anyone watching this at a later date. I do apologize. I've been here since 20 minutes before first pitch, and I missed so much. Okay. So now we're back. we have Taveras at the plate, and Bradish has fallen behind 2-0 with that last pitch well off the plate outside. The 2-0 is just off the plate. Umpire doesn't give it to Bradish, and Taveras has a 3-0 count. You don't want to walk the number 9 guy to lead off the inning, unless that number 9 guy's name is Evan Carter. Yeah, yeah, the lighting is going to be bad, Card. I usually stream in the mornings where I have beautiful natural light coming through my window over here. I've never streamed at this hour. I don't have one of those professional lighting setups. Here's a hard hit ball in a 3-1 count, chased down by Mullins in left center. Good closing speed by Mullins to keep the speedy Taveras off the base paths, and there's one away here in the top of the third. Yeah, if I've got too much glare in my glasses, it's okay, because what do you want to look at my eyeballs for? I really would like to keep my picture smaller than it is, but that's what's sort of covering up the game I'm watching. You get my drift? So it's everything's for a reason here. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay, there we go. But thanks for being here, Card Crazed. All right, it's a 1-0 count on Simeon now. He struck out on 3 pitches his first time up, and that's in there for a called strike. 1-1. Simeon finished first in the league in hits, runs. Was that RBI? Did he lead the league in RBI out of the leadoff spot? Man, this Texas team's loaded. Well, it's 2-1 on Simeon with 1 out. Bases empty. And the next pitch from Bradish is in there, a called strike. 2-2. They are going to this ump cam way too much. I'm not a fan. Next one is foul back, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's try to get Simeon put away here. It was nice to get him out on 3 pitches the first time. Want to keep those pitches per inning around 15, if not less, if you can help it. Next one is grounded on a hop to short. Gunnar Henderson with a strong throw, and Marcus Simeon is retired. Gunnar wearing those giant, like, 80s skiing, the K-12 looking sunglasses on. They're stylish. They are certainly stylish. And the first pitch to Seager is just off the plate outside, 1-0. Now, with a struggling Grossman up next, this is another situation where I think Bradish should not give Seager anything to hit. Keep it out of the zone. He fell behind. All right, you got him to foul one off, but you didn't give in. That ball was on the outside edge. Seager is such a good hitter. He hits lefties and righties with the same amount of average, slugging, doesn't matter. And then, of course, hitting from the left side of the plate in a ballpark like Camden Yards, also a huge benefit. He finished second in both batting average and extra base hits. And Seager. Oh, what happened there? He lines out sharply. Oh, no, he doesn't. He grounds out to Westberg. and the inning is over. You'll have to forgive me. Whoa. Look out. Look out. Look out. All right. So that's 9 outs for Seager. 3 innings. Rangers have been left scoreless so far. We go to the bottom of the third. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters due up for the Orioles. Cedric Mullins, Ramon Urias, and Austin Hayes. I guess I can get rid of some of these stats. I was just looking at Bradish's stats. Kyle Bradish just keeps getting better. I mean, you look at his at all these starts post All-Star break, even going back before then. Since August 1st, he's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starts. So not counting the final game of the season where he just pitched 2 innings to get a little bit of work in. You count the previous 10 starts, he gave up more than 2 runs only twice. One of them was 3 runs, and the other was 4 runs. And the worst one was the 4 runs he gave up over 7 innings, which looks like it's tied for his longest outing of the season. So he ate up innings. It's not like he got shelled for 4 runs early. 4 runs over 7 innings. That's like his worst start in forever. Otherwise, it's been no runs, 2 runs, no runs, no runs. Also, just 2 home runs given up since August 1st. Again, that looks like about a 10-game stretch. So even though he, like Gibson, maybe like Kramer, kind of known for, they give up the home run ball, but usually they keep it to just maybe 1 solo shot. That's not the kind of problem that just takes us out of the game. All right, we're getting ready for the bottom of the third, and the first pitch is not sure where it was. I was ready to call it a strike, but I'm happy. Ball 1 to Ced Mullins. Here comes the next offering, and he swings and misses at one that winds up, if not in the dirt, maybe an inch off the dirt. Since coming off the IL, 47 games, he's hitting under 200, is Ced Mullins. But he's also had some of the biggest at-bats for the Orioles. The big 3-run homer in Houston, that big sac fly to wrap up a split series with the Rays while also clinching a postseason berth. And you just can't take him out of the lineup with what he does for you defensively. Now they're hitting him as low in the order as they can. He's hitting 8th. I'm not sure if I've seen him hit this low. I know he's hit 7th against lefties. But he's hitting 8th here. And this one's low and away as he's worked the count full. So this is what I wanted from guys like Gunnar and Mullins hitting from the left. Work the count. The payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back. So there you go. You're going to see at least 7 pitches in this at-bat. I guess I should have this up over here. I'd rather not really, but here we go. Next pitch is fouled back. The 3-2 is swung on and fisted into, well, right on the lip of the outfield grass and caught by Seager behind second base. Just ball fisted back toward the middle, but yeah, not much contact there from Mullins. Here's Urias. First pitch is a called strike. Heaney catching the outer corner with a fastball. Next offering is tapped to the left on a bounce. Nice pick by Young, and he fires on the run. Nice, solid defensive play there by Josh Young to retire Urias rather quickly, and there's 2 down quickly. We may have a pitcher's duel on our hands. I just feel like we should be getting after Heaney better than this. First pitch to Hayes as the lineup turns over is a called strike. Next pitch is swung on and drilled, but it's hooking foul. Hayes, much like Henderson in his last at-bat, jumping on a pitch too early. Those are the 2 hardest hit balls so far by the Orioles, and they've both been out in front. And here's another ground ball to Young. He picks it on a hop. And another routine-looking play. Young makes it look routine to retire Hayes and the Orioles. Wow. We are through 3 innings. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Rangers. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Orioles. We go to the 4th. Scoreless in Baltimore. This water timeout brought to you by whatever Thai brand of water this is. It kind of looks like Dasani, but so my prediction before the game was if Heaney is able to complete 5 innings or beyond, we're in trouble. Because we should be putting up runs on them and getting into their bullpen by that point. Conversely, if Bradish can't complete 6 innings, if he's taken out before 6 full, we're in trouble. If both happen, I'm really worried. I wouldn't put money on the Birds if both those scenarios come out to play out like that. But right now, through 3, Heaney looks like he can pitch 5 innings and maybe even get into the 6th. We'll see. I doubt it, though. I looked at Heaney's starts. Again, he was used out of the bullpen a lot. He did get 1 appearance where he went 4 1/3 without giving up a run, but 85 pitches in 4 1/3, and did give up 5 hits and a walk. So, with just 2 strikeouts, so not dominating numbers, but he did what he had to do to keep Seattle from scoring in that game. Otherwise, though, you go back his last several appearances: 1 inning, an inning and a third, 2 1/3. 1/3 of an inning, 2 innings. Then he finally get back in some longer appearances: 3 2/3, 4 2/3, 5 1/3, 4 1/3. But yeah, for the most part, since the beginning of September, he has yet to go 5 innings. So if he goes 5 innings today, it just feels like maybe it's not the Orioles' day. I mean, you'd hate to see what looks like an absolute gem of a start from Bradish go to waste if Heaney isn't picked on here by these Oriole bats. We start the 4th here, and Robbie Grossman fouls it off. He doubled in his first at-bat. First base runner of this series, but was stranded. And the count 0-1. Again with this catcher cam. Next pitch is a called strike 2. The only reason I know that is because this umpire cam looked to the right and I saw 2 fingers. Please stop using the umpire cam. The 0-2 to Grossman is a breaking ball in the dirt. It bounces actually on the plate. And the count now a ball and 2 strikes. Grossman is an important out here. You know, you always want to get the leadoff man out, but you've got Garcia and the red-hot Carter due up afterwards. And you want to face those guys with the bases empty, give yourself a little bit of leeway, like Bradish appeared to do in the second with Carter by basically seemingly pitching around him. And it looked the smart move. He struck out the side immediately thereafter. But first, you got to get Grossman. The 2-2 pitch is in there, called strike 3. Grossman knew it. And Bradish continues to rack up the Ks. That's 6 now through 3 1/3. Inside part of the plate. And Grossman was crowding that plate, but the umpire wasn't having it. And there's your 6th punch out for Kyle Bradish. Adolis Garcia takes a big cut and fouls it away. It is a packed house in Birdland, but you're starting to sense a little bit of tension. Every pitch, there was electricity in the ballpark, but until we get that first run, you got a feeling things are going to be a little tense here at the ballpark. And unfortunately, my peripheral vision is seeing something that I wish I didn't see. And here we go. It's a line drive, base hit down the left field line for Garcia. It'll be extra bases. Hayes with a little bit of trouble getting the ball, but Garcia was always pulling up with a stand-up double. So 1-out double from Garcia. And here comes the guy I don't want to face. And the fact that I can see it's already going to be a run coming. God, I wish my broadcast was synced up with the live game day. Apparently, Evan Carter is going to put damage. I've been saying it. Pitch around. You pitched around him to lead off the inning. Now you got a situation with a base open, 1 out. And right there, he hooks the first pitch right in the right field corner for extra bases. Garcia comes around to score. It's an RBI double for Evan Carter. I don't get it. Why did you give him anything to hit? You got a base open, 1 out. The light-hitting Jonah Heim in comparison on deck. Perfect situation to get a double play or a strikeout. I don't understand why you give this guy anything to hit. I don't get it. That is really frustrating. That is super frustrating. One down, a run in now, and a runner in scoring position. Evan Carter. Man, if you didn't know his name a week ago, you know it now. I don't know how far the Rangers are going to go in these playoffs, but if they get past this round, the next team they face better know how to handle them. Here's the line drive, base hit, past the dive of the glove of Gunner, and here comes the throw in, and it's not going to be anywhere near the plate. It's an RBI single for Jonah Heim. And the Rangers are up 2-0. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Just out of the reach of Henderson. It would have been an infield hit had he gotten to it. But it would have kept Carter at third base. Well, now Bradish has to find that stuff that made him look so good in the first 3 innings. He cannot afford to let this get out of hand here. If he's going to give up anything today, it's these 2 runs, and that's it. That's all we can afford. Here's a high fastball in the count, 1-1 on Nathaniel Lowe. Struck out in the second. How do you throw a hittable pitch to Evan Carter? And it was a slider, too. It looked like a slider. Those were my 2 points. Point 1. Nobody hits the slider better than the Rangers. So while the slider is Bradish's best pitch, it should only be an out pitch. Or if you're throwing it in an even count or whatever, early in the count, you gotta not let it be in the zone. It can start in the zone, but you can't leave it in the zone. These Ranger batters can reach that pitch. And here's another hit in the right field. Oh, my goodness. Luckily, it's just a station hit. But now we have runners at first and second. Still only 1 out. And Brandon Hyde looks to be a bit perturbed there in the dugout. Rutschman's coming out to have a conversation. Bradish looked so sharp, and suddenly now the Rangers have 5 hits through what is now just 3 1/3 innings. We need a double play ball, or we need Bradish to find that strikeout pitch again. Man. Struck out like 5 of the first 8 batters of the game. 5 of the first 6 outs, strikeouts. And now we've given up like 4 hits to the last 6 batters or something. This is make or break time, and there is action in the Oriole bullpen. I hate to see it. They're not bringing up any long guys. We got Jordan Webb and Danny Colomb getting loose. Lefty and a righty. I don't see why you bring them in here in the 4th. Here's a fly ball to right. Hicks is under it, makes the catch, and sort of gives a stare to the runner at second to kind of threaten him to maybe take a third, but runners stay put, and there are 2 down. I'm confident Bradish will get out of this inning, even with the dangerous bat of Marcus Semien now coming to the plate. What I'm worried about are these Oriole bats, which, let's face it, the last 10 days or so of the regular season, they went pretty darn cold. Adley Rutschman was hitting. Most of the rest of the lineup was not. And the only reason I feel that we were able to continue to play .600 or better baseball was our pitching. But you have to be able to take advantage of the Rangers tossing out if their roster is healthy, maybe their 5th guy, probably more a long guy in the bullpen. Here's the next pitch to Tavera, and another base hit. And they're not going to test the arm of Austin Hayes. And it's a good idea, but that's going to load the bases. And now we are on the brink. We are on the brink. This is not the situation you want. Bases loaded, and up steps Seager. Nowhere to put him. Nowhere to hide. 2 runs already in. This is the game right here. I know the Orioles are good at coming back. I know they don't get too flustered. First pitch is a nice slider in there. It's a strike swinging. However, I'm not happy with the location of that pitch. Again, throw the slider off the plate. Use it as an out pitch. Get ahead with the fastball. Go with the changeup. You got a decent curve. 1-1 now. I'm sorry. I absolutely blew that call. It's Simeon hitting now. That was Tavares with the previous single. And this is why I don't get paid to call baseball games. So if you're following along, folks, just to make everything clear, bases are loaded. You got Jonah Heim at third, Josh Young, Nathaniel Lowe at second, and then Tavares at first. I think. Simeon at the plate, 2 down, a 1-2 count with 2 runs already in. And Kyle Bradish needs to get out of this jam. This is his 69th pitch of the game already. Here in the 4th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. There's a tight, nasty slider. And that's exactly where you wanted. That pitch wasn't in the zone. Started on the outer half. But yeah, that's the key, Bradish. You got to keep those sliders from, staying in the plate. Started in the plate. Make sure it stays off the plate. 2 runs in for the Rangers. We go to the bottom of the 4th. The Orioles are going to have to play catch up. And this is the inning to do it. We got Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, and Ryan Mountcastle due up. No offense to I'm seeing Danny DeVito do a Subway commercial? Oh, Jersey Mike's. Hey, if you're gonna get a spokesman, go with Danny DeVito. Right, yeah. So the Orioles have Rutschman, Santander, Mountcastle due up in this next inning. They have to put a rally together here. At least get 1 run back. If they just go quietly in this inning, that's 4 blanks against Andrew Heaney. That's just it's not a good sign of things to come. The bats have been cold. We've got 1 hit in the first 3 innings. It's time to start catching up to this Texas offense. Again, if we don't win game 1, it's really hard to be positive about the outlook for this series because we've got our ace on the mound against the Rangers, probably 6th man in the rotation. He's not even a guy that would be starting a playoff game if Max Scherzer and John Gray were fit. And it's a home game. It's game 1 to set the tone. God, to lose this game would really, really be heartbreaking. Wow. They're showing not 1 but 2 commercials of Jersey Mike's subs with Danny DeVito in it. Now, I haven't been living in the States a long time, but apparently Jersey Mike's is blowing up. I don't know. They got the money to pay DeVito. Who knows? We're back in the action with Rutschman at the plate. The first pitch is in there, a called strike. A little sweeping change up there, or sweeping breaking ball, I should say. Rutschman grounded out on 1 pitch his first time up. And now he will be flying out on his second pitch, his second time up. This is to straightaway center. Tavares barely has to move. And it's a can of corn. And another first out. This is getting concerning. We are now 1 for 11 off of Andrew Heaney. 1 for 11. We're hitting under 100 against a guy that ain't that good. But hey, he's doing his job. We're not doing ours. So I can say how good he's not all I want. But the fact of the matter is, when it counts, it's a playoff game. He's doing his job, and our hitters are not. Now, I'm not one of these guys that wants to jump off a cliff because the Orioles haven't gotten off to the lead and gotten to Andrew Heaney yet. Because they have shown time and time again this season that they can come back from a deficit. It doesn't necessarily faze them. We got a 3-1 count now on Anthony Santander. This is where we need to... He's the only guy to get a hit yet. There's a called strike 2. A called strike 2 to Tony Santander. And Heaney, it calls for time. He needs to tie his shoelace. We've all been there before. All right, he's ready to go. It'll be a full count offering to Santander, and he swings and fouls it back. Again, the Orioles simply have to do something in this inning with this part of the order up after Texas has put up 2 runs against our ace. Another 3-2 pitch is low. That's ball 4. Okay. Santander is on base for the second time today, and apparently he's the only Oriole interested in getting on base. We'll see what happens. Here comes one of the best mashers of the ball against left-handed pitching in baseball right here. Ryan Mountcastle. He grounded out his first time up. First pitch swinging. Line drive. Base hit down the left field line and into the corner. Santander got a good jump. And Evan Carter's bouncing off the wall. An extra moment to collect himself, get the baseball. And the Orioles have responded indeed. Mr. Splash is out in full effect. The first extra base hit of the postseason belongs to the guy you would expect to get it. Ryan Mountcastle absolutely lasers this one down into the left field corner. And Santander runs from first to home. You know, he's not the fastest guy out there in the outfield. That's why I like to see him DHing and having Hicks out there with Hayes and Mullins. But he runs the bases well, as most of these Orioles players do. Mountcastle runs well for a big guy. Rutschman led all of baseball going first to third on a single this season. There's a little fact. And just like that, the Rangers bullpen is getting up and moving. Dane Dunning, the guy who most people were expecting to start for this Texas team, is now getting loose. And the Oriole crowd is waking up. The tying run now at second base, still 1 out. The pitch is in the dirt. Nice stop by Heim to keep the ball in front of him, as that ball was sweeping left to right. And, yeah, that's a difficult one to handle. And now the umpire is calling for time. He's pointing at something. Not quite sure what, but it looks like a very brief delay. The count 1-0 on Gunnar Henderson. Again, can he produce against a lefty pitcher? He hasn't done it yet. He had a famous home run in Milwaukee off a lefty going opposite field back in a series that was right around the All-Star break, I want to say. But, yeah, 28 homers, only 3 off lefties, barely slugging over 300. The next one is popped up. And that's sort of how Gunnar looks against a lefty. The shortstop, Seager, runs out to make the catch. And there are 2 down. Mountcastle holding at second. Henderson slammed the bat down after that swing and walks back to the dugout with body language you don't want to see, honestly. Live to see another at-bat, Gunnar. We're going to need you. And you got to understand, you're going to see a lot of lefties. But just do what you can to get on base. This is why I didn't want to see him batting 5th. It makes sense to bat him 2nd against a lefty. You tell him, look, your role, Gunnar, is if Adley gets on, just try to get him over. You don't necessarily have to drive him in. If Adley doubles, try to get a base hit. If Adley singles, again, just try to get a hit. Try to move him over. Hit the ball on the right side, Work the count. Maybe you get a walk. And apparently they are going to the pen. That's it for Andrew Heaney. So I said I'd be worried if he could go 5 innings. Well, he doesn't go 4. He does not go 4. How many outs do we have here? 2 outs. He got through 2 outs in the 4th. And in comes Dane Dunning to face Aaron Hicks. After that, you have Jordan Westberg. And if the inning were to still continue, Cedric Mullins. So it'll be interesting to see how much Dunning is used. If Dunning can get Hicks out right now, you would expect him to come out to start the next inning. Not just come in to face one batter, considering he's sort of a starter. However, I could see a situation where leading off the 5th that Westberg gets lifted for Adam Frazier, and suddenly you got to face 2 lefties back to back, Frazier and Mullins, which is good. It also needs to be said that they bring Dunning in as soon as Henderson is retired, which means you got 8 batters until you got to worry about Henderson again. I could totally see a situation where Bruce Bochy's hoping that Dane Dunning can give him a couple of innings, maybe gives up a couple of base runners. But basically, get through the Oriole lineup until you get back to Henderson again, and then bring in the lefty again. So I can see why they lifted Heaney when they did, even though he left with a lead, and it's only the 4th inning. All right, well, it's time for the Orioles to do what they do best. Keep the line moving. We got 2 outs. Aaron Hicks is stepping in. He's 0 for 1. He fouled out in the 2nd. The first pitch is well off the plate. Ball 1. Crowd making noise here at Camden Yards. Everybody in the Oriole dugout leaning over the rail on their feet. The 1-0 is swung on and popped up. That's going to get out of play. One and one on Hicks. Tying run at second. 2 down. 2-1 Rangers here in the bottom of the 4th. Dane Dunning's next offering is in the dirt. And the count moves to, is that 3-1? Nope, just 2-1. 2-1 on Hicks. Here it comes. And he chased one upstairs. Hicks went chasing, came up empty, and Dunning gets the count even at 2-2. Again, if the Orioles can extend the inning, I could totally see Westberg getting lifted for Adam Frazier. Frazier, not necessarily great pinch hitting numbers, but he is a good clutch hitter. Good situational hitter. Not going to try to do too much. Just try to lift the ball over the infield and get that tying run in. If we can get that far, let's see what Hicks can do. Up and away, ball 4. Okay. Let's see what they do here. You brought in your righty. We've got lefties. We got lefties on standby. We got lefties on standby. And here he is. There you go. Frazier is indeed coming on to pinch hit for Jordan Westberg. Let's go. Let's see what we can do. And there's a meeting at the mound here. I think Bochy made a good move because now, later in the game, you can't now turn from, well, I guess you could lift Frazier for Mateo if you wanted to. Although I view Mateo better served as a pinch runner, but it's all situational in the moment. Ideally, he's your pinch runner when you need that speed. But if we get back around and they have a lefty to go against Frazier, we could counter back with Mateo. I think we can. Have we had a situation with Mateo, Henderson, and Urias all in the infield? Who would play second? Gunnar has to play short or third. Seems like Mateo just plays short. I guess you move Urias to second. He's got some experience. This ball's popped up just inside fair ground near the first base bag. And that's going to end the inning. But the Orioles cut the lead in half. A much-needed rally there as they finally get to Andrew Heaney and knock him out of the game. At the end of 4, it's Texas 2, the Orioles 1. Due up for the Rangers in the 5th, we got Seager, Grossman, and Garcia, your 2-3-4 hitters. If anyone gets on, that pesky Carter kid is waiting in the wings. And I swear, if I see a situation where they're giving Carter a pitch to hit when they don't have to, I'm gonna lose my mind. Bradish has been really good today. Even though he's given up 6 hits. 6 hits through the first 4 innings isn't exactly impressive. But he's got the stuff. However, Carter is hitting everybody's stuff. So the Orioles did the right thing in the second inning. Carter led off the inning, And Bradish just basically didn't throw a pitch in the zone. I think he got a strike on him, whether it was maybe a generous call by the umpire or just Carter fouling one away. But once the count got to 3-1, it was pretty clear they weren't going to give Carter anything to hit. Then he comes up a second time in a much more dangerous spot with a runner in scoring position. In the first pitch, you throw a slider. Yeah, it's low and in. It's got good movement on it, but this dude is hitting everything off righties. Like, he just can't. You just can't. You can't let him beat you. And the Orioles did. We'll see whether or not that costs us the game. I mean, right now it's the difference. It's a one-run game. There's only one player on either team that has both scored a run and driven in a run. And oh, by the way, he's also got a walk to his credit. And that's Carter. So here we go. Adam Frazier is going to stay in the game at second base. He's trying to decide whether or not to wear those giant Elton John looking ski slope sunglasses. He's going to rest them on the bill of his hat. As Bradish comes out to face Kyle Seager here to start the fifth. He just threw his 70th pitch for ball one. And here comes the second offering. Foul back, 1-1. Seager's been held 0-2 so far at the plate. So far, so good in that department. Next one is swung on a miss. Bradish with looks like another. Does he throw a two-seamer? It's got movement where it starts straight and then breaks away from the lefty. Sort of the opposite of a cutter. This one's high, and the count even at 2-2. The shadows are starting to come into play here as the overhang of the ballpark has now reached the home plate area. So Bradish is pitching from the sun, and about 5 feet in front of home plate is where the shadows reach. So the hitter, the plate, all in shadow. The pitcher still in the sun. Will this have an impact going forward for the next hour? This one is cued. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is a tough thing to see right there. A leadoff hit by Kyle Seager, who just cued the ball off the end of the bat, rolling it slowly toward third base, where Urias was shifted more toward the hole in short. So he had to backhand it after a long run, and it was hit too slow. All they could do was eat it. And Seager's on base. Well, if you're going to let Seager go 1 for 3 with a single, that's not so bad so far. He's going to get his. And this is the guy you got to go after, Robbie Grossman. Yes, he did double in the first inning, but in general, not a hot bat in the middle of this Ranger lineup. And you got Garcia up next and Carter after that. So with nobody out and a runner on already, this is a must out for Bradish. Ideally, you get Grossman. Then you get Garcia to chase a pitch and strike him out. And then with 2 out, you pitch around Carter and go after Jonah Heim. I'm sorry, but that's what you got. You got to do it that way. Even though it pushes a runner into scoring position by walking Carter, he's just too dangerous. That last one, again, he's got some really good movement on his pitches, does Bradish today. I really hope we can give him a little run support because he's pitching like an ace. He's pitching like he won a postseason starting pitcher to pitch. First pitch to Garcia is low and away, a slider off the plate, which is exactly where you want a slider against a guy like this. 1-0 to the dangerous right-handed hitting Garcia. And he takes a huge cut and a miss at a high fastball. You could just see the stance. It's like he almost had a home run sort of backswing, as if he was looking for that ball to clear the wall in left field, but instead he came up empty. And here's a slider on the outside corner, not called a strike, and the appeal to see if Garcia went around was also denied. So a great slider, started on the outside corner, broke off the plate. That's exactly how you want to pitch Garcia, but he was disciplined enough to take that one, and this one swung on and missed, as Bradish now goes up and in. It's been up and in, low and away, back to up and in. It's a good way to keep this dangerous hitter off balance. He comes into this ranked second in the American League in RBI, runs scored, and home runs. That is Mr. Production. You'd love to see him get a ball on the ground here if you can't strike him out. Excuse me. The 2-2 to Adolis Garcia from Kyle Bradish is another slider that breaks low and away, and again an appeal to first. I don't know why they did. That was even less of a check swing than the previous appeal. Hey, thanks, Sanj. Appreciate it. I'm up to 5 likes. I didn't realize for the first 2 innings that apparently I wasn't streaming correctly. But hey, you live, you learn. And there's a strike 3 at Garcia. That's what you need right there. That's the second strikeout of the day for Garcia. And this is what he does. He's gotten a hit, and that ball was hit hard, and then he struck out twice. Yes, Sanj, whatever you can do to, I don't know how much clout you have, but if you got any clout at all, please bring some people over, because my stream was ready to start on time. I started my stream 20 minutes before first pitch, and when I hit start, everything looked like it was running, but then 2 innings into the game, I realized, oh my God, the stream is not going out live. So this live stream started 2 innings into the game, which not only ruins what I wanted to do to maybe get people to show up for the live stream, but also I'm archiving this for later, and like I wanted to be able to reference this game and maybe listen to it for nostalgic reasons years later if things go well or something. And I'm going to have the first 2 innings missed. I blew it. Plus, I'm drinking water like crazy because I thought I talked a lot on my normal stream. Calling a baseball game when there's no... I understand why they got a second guy. Yeah. You need somebody else to fill in some dead air. I can't talk this much. It's coming up on 2:45 a.m. my time. And I got to tell you, folks, I did everything in my power to rearrange my sleep schedule or just try and get sleep in certain ways so that I could adjust to this playoff schedule and be at my peak energy. But man, my body is tired. Oh my God. I don't have any real provisions. I guess I could make another cup of coffee. That's on the You know, that's probably what to do. Okay, I'll wait for the next half inning. Make a cup of coffee. Look. Or wait, no, that was it for Bradish? So they're bringing in the lefty to face Carter right here. Bradish goes 4 2/3, gives up 7 hits, a walk, struck out 9. It really was a weird outing for him. I mean, he looked so sharp, and then he just had about a 4 to 5 batter stretch where guys are hitting the ball hard. So in comes Danny Colomb to face Evan Carter. And this is what you got to do. The numbers will say that this should be an easy out now. Evan Carter goes from being the most dangerous hitter on either team to being the easiest out on either team when you throw a lefty out there. I think I got his... Do I have his numbers up here? His splits? They're ridiculous. And the 2-0 is in there for a called strike. Here you go. He has 1 hit in 11 plate appearances against lefties. 1 for 11. And that was a single for an on-base percentage of .091. Excuse me, no, he doesn't have... Wait, his OPS is .091. He doesn't have a hit. He does not have a hit off a lefty in his short stint. Meanwhile, just hitting everything off righties. Off righties, 1,238 OPS, hitting .365, slugging .769, 5 homers, 12 RBIs, 3 steals, 14 runs scored, and 64 plate appearances. But against lefties, zilch. However, the count is full. The pitch is up and away, and that's the other thing he does. He draws walks. But you have got to be kidding me. He didn't. That's the first walk. Excuse me, that's the second walk against the lefty. No hits and now 2 walks. That's his stat line against lefties. So Colomb comes in to get Carter specifically, and he walks him. And now you got Jonah Heim, who actually hits lefties much better than righties. So you don't want this situation. But with Nathaniel Lowe on deck, another lefty, Brandon Hyde probably has to just commit to going after Heim and then keeping Colomb in there to face Lowe next. Huge at bat, 1-0 count. The pitch is grounded to the short. Henderson has it and flips it to second for the force, and the Orioles get out of the jam. So Colomb didn't get the guy out you'd hoped, but he did get the out that ended the inning, and the Orioles are out of it. We are halfway through this one. It's Texas 2, Baltimore 1, and I will be right back. To the 2 viewers that might be here right now, I appreciate you guys being here. Don't feel pressured into hitting the like button. Again, this is sort of an experimental thing. I do plan on starting a second channel that is catered for this sort of content. But, yeah. You can subscribe if you'd like, but it's not this sort of content. But maybe if you want to see some live streams, or if you're an Orioles fan, I'm definitely going to be starting from scratch during the off season and going with a full season of Orioles coverage starting for the 2024 season. Again, just to throw it out there, I spent the last 11 years covering the English Premier League, English soccer, and I live overseas. So those 2 factors made it really difficult for me to follow baseball and my beloved Orioles. But through some sort of fate, I left the sports writing position for NBC Sports, started up a YouTube channel, and it gave me a reason to start following baseball again. And I've been able to watch this magical Orioles season pretty much wire to wire. Here's Cedric Mullins to lead things off. After a 1-0 count, he looks at a called strike. And a count now 1-1. Dane Dunning out there. Came in to relieve Andrew Heaney in the 4th. This one's inside, ball 2. Next one is line foul off to the right. Over by the tarp. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cedric Mullins. This is a guy you want to get to reach. They got a lefty getting loose. I don't know why. After Mullins, you got the righty Urias, the righty Hayes, a couple of switch hitters in Rutschman and Santander. Next pitch is a fly ball, hit well in the left center field, but it'll get chased down by Carter in the gap. 1 away. So Mullins retired. Hey, Larry, so basically those first 2 innings, what happened? What did you see on your end? Because I had no idea that I was calling a game for no one. Not even for me. Like, whenever this gets archived and I want to watch it later, if it's like some memorable, historic Orioles game, it's going to be a game missing 2 innings. Here's a ground ball tapped foul by Urias, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Thanks for showing up, Larry. Why so serious? Next pitch is tapped over to third. Here's a play by Young. He tries to barehand it, but it gets under his hand, and Urias will reach with an infield single. Young has made a few nice plays at third already today, but that one was really difficult. That ball, it wasn't bouncing slowly as you would like on a play where you're going to barehand it. He really had to catch that grip perfect, and the ball just slipped right out of his hands. So now, with a runner at first, 1 away. I'm an avant-garde kind of guy. Hey, who else calls a baseball game with a Midsummer poster hanging over their back while smoking a joint? While smoking a joint that went out. The 1-0 is a big cut and miss there by Austin Hayes. Hayes put in the lineup in the leadoff spot today to try to take advantage of Heaney. Hayes had 2 home runs off Heaney earlier in the season, going 4 for 8. So major success. And here's the ball ripped to third. Young with a perfect stab, and they turn a beautiful double play. Wow. The Rangers Josh Young making up for that missed barehanded play with an amazing pick at third, and the transfer and toss to second was seamless, and it needed to be to go around the horn and get the double play. The Rangers defense looking pretty good. So Andrew Heaney goes out there. He doesn't explode. The Orioles just have one run through 5 innings. The Rangers have a lead. They've knocked Bradish out of the game. And, yeah. So far, I have to say, the Rangers are in the position they want to be. A weirdo? Who's a weirdo? I'm a weirdo. I wear that moniker proudly. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, from your end, can't you like rewind to the very start of the live clip to see what happened, and then just tap the live button, and then you come right back to live again? Maybe you can take a little peek. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere like in the middle of the second inning that the stream actually started. I totally blew it. But this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm using the playoffs sort of as a test run for what will hopefully be a nice... Yeah, no worries. Matter of fact, you hang on too. I got to clear my sinuses. Another beautiful, what do you call it? Side effect of talking into a microphone for 2 hours straight. One moment, please. It's really too bad because I'd actually, this is the first time I ever like scheduled a live stream event. Normally I just go live. I don't have like a preset thing where people can like hang out and wait. Oh, you can't? Oh, well. Well, I'm sure I blew it. I still can't get over how they pitched to Carter in that second at bat. Okay, if check swing Tapper in front of the plate, and Rutschman fields it cleanly. My God, I get why calling a baseball game is hard, because you use all this sort of terminology, and yeah, I'm fumbling. Rutschman fields it cleanly to retire Nathaniel Lowe, and that's going to do it for Colomb. And it makes sense because the next guy up, Josh Young, absolutely rakes against left-handed pitching. So you bring in a righty here, and you got Young, Tavares, Simeon. Seager, honestly, hits righties and lefties with the same amount of success. He's just that good. Doesn't really matter. But at least for the next 3 batters, we got a righty coming in. I believe it was Webb getting loose earlier. I don't remember seeing the likes of Tyler Wells or who would be the other righty. Let's see. Who's in my bullpen? Obviously not Cano. Too early for him. The other guy they could have gone to. No, it's got to be Webb. It's got to be Webb here. If you tell me they're bringing up Brian Baker, I'm just going to go hide under the bed. If it's not Jacob Webb coming on, cleans it fieldly. Was that a classic Vin Scully line? Maybe I should just do the rest of the call like this. Hello, everybody. Harry Carey coming at you. We're live here at downtown Baltimore. We got a new pitcher coming out of the mound. All right. Josh Young is 1 for 3, a run scored, and an RBI. Part of that rally back in the fourth inning. Right in the middle of that fourth inning rally was this guy. Show me Webb on the mound. Oh, it looks like Tyler Wells. I guess this is a high leverage situation. I don't know. It's still only the 6th inning. I can't tell. Is that Webb or Wells? They both have a W and an E and a big... Okay, it is Jacob Webb. I apologize. I should have just stuck with my gut. I said they should go with Webb because I want Wells later. I think Wells and Cano you want for like the 8th and 9th innings, or 7th and 8th. And maybe DL Hall in there as your high leverage lefty in the mix to bridge those two righties. So it's Jacob Webb's turn here. 1 out, nobody on. And the job here is to just... Will Ferrell doing? Hey, everybody. If the moon were made of hot dogs, would you eat it? There's my impression of an impression. Here's a fly ball. Hit pretty well to deep center. He's go. Oh, it's gone. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You hate to see it, folks. You hate to see it. You go to the pen to bring in a guy specifically for a matchup, and the result is a home run for the Rangers. They now have their 2-run lead back. Ah, boy. Tavares looks at ball 1. By the way, I just want to point out that there's another right-handed pitcher that could have been used in this situation. A guy by the name of Mike Baumann, who I still don't understand why he's not on this series roster. Why do you have Brian Baker? You're not going to Brian Baker here. You don't trust Brian Baker for any situation. What is he even there for? I honestly don't get it. And so you bring in Webb here, and now what are you going to do? Are you going to rely on Webb tomorrow if need be? Or we're going to have to turn to Baker in a situation like this. This is not good. This is not good. The count is 3-1 on Tavares, who, honestly, why are you this far behind after giving up a home run? And it's ball 4. Wow. My goodness. Well, the only silver lining I can offer is that Webb is coming to the game, giving up a home run and a walk, and it was in that order. Because if it was in the other order, he would have already given up 2 runs. He might yet give up that second run. Tavares could easily come around the score, and actually now you got to worry about him stealing a base. This is definitely their best base stealer, and up 2 runs, 1 out. I can and Simeon looking sort of struggleish at the plate. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts today. I would definitely keep an eye on Taveras here. And that's exactly what they're doing. Before Webb throws one pitch to the plate, he checks Taveras back to the bag. So there's one disengagement out of the way, which only is going to help Taveras going forward, really. And now this first pitch to the batter is low and away, and not even close. Nothing for Simeon even to offer at. DL Hall is getting loose. So there's your next lefty, apparently. I want DL Hall for later inning situations. I think he's our best left-hander out of the pen. I think he's got the nastiest stuff, the best strikeout stuff. But I got to say it. When it comes to the way the pitching staff is being used, me and Brandon Hyde have two different ways of thinking. I think we're on the same page with how to put a lineup out there. Although, again, I really think Henderson should have been batting second and Rutschman hitting leadoff, and then move Hayes down to like either before or after Hicks. This one's hit well in the right center. Mullins' long run. He will chase it down, and the runner will have to retreat to first. Man, that ball was smoked. But Mullins, again, got such good range, and here comes Hyde. So it's like we got another Sparky Anderson here. That's going to do it for Jacob Webb. I mean, can you blame him, though? I guess we're happy that he got one out, and it was an out that could have been a double. Wow. Folks, it looks like I might have at least 4 people watching the stream right now. I appreciate it, guys. Listen, if you're an Orioles fan, let's talk. What do we need to do here? How do we wake up these bats? How do we get Brandon Hyde to bring in the right reliever at the right time? Because these are the two things that aren't happening right now. The Rangers' weakness is supposed to be their bullpen. We're supposed to have a distinct advantage. Wow, as soon as I said hello, there were 4 people. And after I said hello, it went down to 1. Okay, lesson learned. Do not acknowledge anybody watching. Sorry, I won't do it again. I promise. Good Lord. Man, I tell you what. I mean, so far, not so good. So far, not so good. Own goal. Just looking at some Premier League highlights from earlier. I still follow the Premier League. It's kind of just ingrained in me at this point. But I do want to see what the Orioles Twitter is looking like right now. There's got to be a lot of frustrated people out there. We are Orioles fans, and we are. Look, I'm definitely feeling down right now because I've said it twice already, although maybe only once because the first time was probably before the stream actually was live. But the Orioles have to win this game. You can't have our ace go up against the Rangers like if everybody's healthy, a pitcher that wouldn't even be in the rotation. Not just in a playoff scenario, but like in the regular season. This guy's been more of like our Keegan Aiken, like a long relief lefty who doesn't have great stuff. And you just kind of toss him out there in low leverage or out of reach situations because he can eat up some innings and whatever. And now here he comes in a playoff game on the road against a 101-win team. And yeah, he didn't get through 5 innings, but he gave up 1 run. And Dunning has come in, and combined, the Orioles have just 3 hits. So it's D.L. Hall out on the mound now, and that last pitch was 98 on the gun. 1-1 the count on Corey Seager. So they bring in Hall with Seager up, but even though Webb was not effective, you got to know that Seager hits lefties just as well as righties. It's the splits are pretty similar. Obviously, for counting numbers, he does better against righties just for the at bats. But when you look at the on base, the slugging, walk rate, all that stuff, it doesn't matter. Lefty, righty. That's why he's such a good hitter. Is that a 3-2 count now? Full count, runner at first, 2 down. Oriole fans on their feet, and I'm glad they are because, yeah, they're down 2 runs, but they know how this team is. Next pitch is fouled away. Seager hanging in there. Is this a 9-pitch at bat already? D.L. Hall's first batter, and he's already on 9 pitches. And it's ball 4. Another walk by Orioles pitching, and that one was like the last one, just off the outside corner. I could see an umpire calling that a strike 3. So that's 4 walks now for the Rangers. You can't give them these extra base runners. They're going to burn you with an extra base hit. You got runners at first and second now with 2 down. Conversely, just to show the all-or-nothing style of Texas, it's fully on display here because they have struck out 10 times already. They've struck out 10 times. There's only, 1 out in the 6th? 2 outs in the 6th? The Orioles, meanwhile, have struck out just once. But look at the damage the Rangers are doing when they make contact. They have that all-or-nothing swing mentality. They look for a certain pitch, and they go after it like they're on top of it. If they're wrong, they miss. But when they're right, runs are on the board. And right now we're getting some shots of the crowd here at Oriole Park, and it's starting to wane a little bit. People are getting nervous. People are definitely getting nervous, and I'm right there with them. Two strikes now on Grossman, and now the crowd does start to pick it up. They want to see a strike 3 here. The support is there, the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. That'll end the inning. So D.L. Hall comes on and gets the job done. But unfortunately, it was a bad relief outing for Jacob Webb. He gives up the big home run ball to Josh Young, and the Rangers go back on top by 2. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead. The Orioles got one back, and with that, the Rangers back to the 2-run lead. 3-1 the score going to the bottom of the 6th. And wouldn't you know it, it's the same batters due up that were due up 2 innings ago when the Orioles put their only run on the board. Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle. Although now we'll see what they do in terms of, will they put a righty out there for sure for Mountcastle? And if so, do you turn to Ryan O'Hearn? Because here's the deal. If Bochy brings in a righty to face Mountcastle, you would then see O'Hearn come in and do what he does best, hit off righties, and then Gunner's right behind that. Another huge differential. Gunner, very subpar against lefties, does all his damage against righties. So you would have back-to-back, arguably the two toughest lefty bats against a righty if you brought in a righty to face Mountcastle. It will be interesting. For now, it's still Dane Dunning. He's gotten 4 outs already. And it's going to be Rutschman, Santander, and Mountie. I have a feeling if he can go 1, 2, 3, that'll be the end of the day for Dunning. Job well done. But if anybody gets on and Mountcastle comes up, or excuse me, Henderson comes up, we probably see a lefty come in to face Henderson. You just need a little bit of spark here. I mean, once we get to the 8th and 9th innings, I know the Rangers aren't known for a great bullpen, but you know, a playoff caliber team are usually going to have a decent arm in the 8th and the 9th. You want to get back in this game here in the 6th and the 7th. So here's Adley, who's 0 for 2. He's been so hot at the end of the season, but so far today he's been kept quiet. The 1-1 is fouled away, 1-2. Both dugouts look like they're in the middle of a chess match. There's a call to the pen from the Rangers side. Next pitch is taken for a called strike 3 right in there. My goodness. You hate to see it. Adley has such a good batter's eye. He's been our hottest hitter going in from September into the playoffs. You want to see him get a rally started, and to see him take a called strike 3, that's tough. That's just tough. Normally he pounces on that ball, at least fouls it away. Here's Santander, who now hits from the left side and takes a breaking ball high for ball 1. He's been pretty much the Oriole offense, a single and a walk. Swung on and drilled. Deep right field. Into the bleachers. Forget about it. Anthony Santander. Tony Taters lays into one. Reaching the right center field bleachers. And the Orioles get a run back. They're down a run again. This is their signature. They're never out of it. They are never out of it. Tony getting the high fives, and here comes the homer hose. Surely. It is waiting on standby. There it is. High fives all around. Tony Taters, we need somebody to carry this offense. And so far today, it's been Anthony Santander, 2 for 3 with a walk and now a home run, and has scored both of the Oriole runs. Here's Mountcastle. And this is probably going to be Dunning's last batter either way, with Gunnar Henderson up next. I get the feeling Bruce Bochy said, I am not letting Gunnar face a right-handed pitcher if I can help it. Now, obviously, in a game where a righty is starting, like, say, Eovaldi, you're going to have to make do. But with the way the rosters are, with the lefties that the Rangers have, they can conceivably keep Gunnar to facing a righty only a few times in the whole damn series. Nice replay there of the Santander home run. And there's the tail of the tape. Santander's 2 for 2. The rest of the team 2 for 18. He's carrying them on his back as much as he can. And with Henderson, yep, here we go. Just as planned. Now that Ryan Mountcastle has been retired, in comes a lefty to face Gunnar. Even with 2 out and nobody on base and you have a lead, Texas is not going to let a right-handed pitcher face Gunnar Henderson. And I think it's the right move. Again, his splits don't lie, folks. As much as we love Gunnar Henderson, and I love me some Gunnar Henderson, the difference between his power numbers are just, they can't be ignored. Here you go again in the 2023 season. Now, he had 167 plate appearances to 454 against righties. So basically, a third, for every 3 at bats against a righty, he'd have 1 against a lefty. So he had a decent amount of at bats, but he hit 272 against righties, 209 against lefties, 335 on base, 293, which isn't so bad. He actually probably draws a couple more walks, but the slugging percentage is where the tail of the tape is. 549 slugging, giving him an 883 OPS against righties. That is, heart of the order, RBI guy, slugger type guy. Against lefties, though, 324 slugging. 324. OPS of 618. 265 points lower. It's night and day. So you can understand why you base pretty much every pitching move around just neutralizing Gunnar Henderson, especially at Camden Yards, where you want to keep a good lefty bat from doing something, taking advantage of the shorter dimensions in right field. So here comes Will Smith. A 1-4 record, an ERA of 7.45, and a WHIP of $1.50. That's not exactly dazzling numbers. And folks, we're getting to the point now where I'm going to have to just leave it on something like this, or maybe here on the Twitter. I can't follow the MLB.com thing because it's spoiling too much. I saw that the Orioles had put that run up before it happened. I still made the call because it was exciting to see how it all happened, but I don't want anything spoiled for myself. Here's a big cut and a miss. Henderson, he's such a good player. It's really hard to sit there and try and pick on a weakness of his, but he just seems to try to hit lefties the same like he does righties, like he can just crush them. But until he does, start a little lower. Maybe work on just making solid contact, hitting line drives, and then maybe adjust a little bit to where you give it a little bit more of an uppercut, and maybe you can start crushing lefties a little better. But yeah, against lefties, Gunnar really needs to look at himself more as like a contact hitter, just get on base, because he's such a weapon once he's on the base paths. Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. And there you go. That's another strikeout for Gunnar today. Simply not good against lefties. And Bruce Bochy, all the credit in the world. This is why Heaney is starting game 1 over Dunning. This is why they brought Dunning in to basically pitch the 8 batters between Gunnar's second at bat and Gunnar's at bat just now. Absolutely perfectly executed by Bruce Bochy. That is precisely what you want to do there. He said, I'm going to take out their best weapon, Gunnar Henderson, and he has. And that's why I didn't want him batting 5th. You don't want him right in the middle of the order, because if you know he's going to always see a lefty and he's going to make outs, and he's not doing things like, if there's a runner on, just try to move him over, or maybe you try to lay a bunt down. Maybe I don't know, anything other than take a big uppercut swing and strike out at a pitch in the dirt. It's just really frustrating. They should have batted him second. When you hit out of the 2-hole, you understand your role. If you had Adley hitting leadoff, and Hines, Monday morning quarterback, maybe not such a astute observation, but Adley is our best on-base percentage guy. He came into the postseason swinging the hottest bat on the team. So it would make sense to have him hitting leadoff, because he's not going to have like a solo home run wasted in all likelihood, especially having to hit from the left side. He's more likely to get you a double or take a walk. If he hits a double, then Gunnar can come up and just work on moving Adley to third base and getting that first run in to get that lead. If Adley just reaches first on a walk, Gunnar can still, maybe try to play a little hit and run where he's more focused on just trying to make solid contact rather than trying to crush the ball. But when you hit him 5th in the lineup, right behind Ryan Mountcastle, it's putting too much expectation on him to be like this RBI extra base hit machine against left-handed pitching, and he's just not that guy. Again, do I need to show you the splits here? It's not even close. I'm telling you right now, Bruce Bochy looked at these exact numbers that I did and based much of his pitching strategy around this one giant drop-off in production, which is Gunnar when he faces lefties. Okay, we're going to the 7th. Adolis Garcia is in there to lead things off, and he's quickly in the hole 0-2 against D.L. Hall. And I hope we can get a few outs out of Hall. I think he's one of our I think he should be an 8th or 9th. I think he and Cano should be the 8th and 9th inning guys. Not necessarily won the 8th, won the 9th, but base it more on just what the lineups are looking like. If it looks lefty heavy in the 8th, go Hall and then Cano in the 9th. If it looks righty heavy in the 8th and lefty in the 9th, then reverse it. I think Hall can close out a game. There's another strikeout right there, Garcia. Hall looks good. So far, so good for D.L. Hall. I mean, I'm happy to have him in the game right here and hopefully shut this Ranger lineup down for another inning, so giving us a chance to rally back. But honestly, this is the guy I want with a lead late to maintain that lead. Here's Carter now, who, again, cannot hit lefties. It's the same thing with Gunnar. It's just we have a smaller sample size with Evan Carter, this kid who has just broken out. 2 walks and a double, a run scored, and an RBI. He just keeps mashing. Swing and a miss right there. I guarantee you Hall strikes this kid out. All he has to do is throw strikes. I don't know how he got walked by Colomb. Colomb was brought in specifically to face Carter, and he walked him. You have to throw strikes. You have to know that Carter can't hit lefties at all. It's not just the small sample size in the majors. His minor league numbers spell out the same thing. Crushes righties, can't hit lefties. He's like Pedro Serrano in a curveball. Can't hit it. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball on the right. It's scooped up by the first baseman. A tag of the bag, and just in time. Very close play with Hall covering the bag. We'll take a look at a replay here. It was close enough probably for them to want to make doubly sure. Well, it doesn't seem to be any commotion about a challenge or anything. Let's take a look. Looks like he did get the foot. Yep. In real time, it's super close, but the replay shows Hall definitely covered the bag in time. So now there are 2 down. And a big swing and a miss here from Jonah Heim. I'm telling you right now, DL Hall, unless it's a, oh, this one's hit hard. But a diving catch by Austin Hayes along the left field line. He just laid out. Vintage Austin Hayes. Wow. Where was he before taking off for that? Because that was all the way down. Oh my goodness. DL Hall giving him the nod. I mean, that ball was hit hard off Hall, but they got the out. Again, I think DL Hall, if we can get deep into this postseason, needs to be the best lefty for the later innings. 8th and 9th inning lefty guy. For me, it goes Colomb if you need one in the the 6th. Maybe the 7th. Then it's CNL Perez if you need one in the 7th. Maybe the 8th. And then it's Hall when you need one in the 8th, maybe the 9th. Conversely, I think it's Webb that you go for in the 6th, maybe the 7th. Then it's Tyler Wells for 7th, maybe the 8th. And then Cano for 8th, maybe the 9th. Just based on what the opposing hitters look like due up in a given inning. So since it's a commercial, I guess I can take a peek back here. Orioles still being out hit 8-4, but it's 7th inning stretch time. We got 9 outs to outscore Texas by at least 1 run. And Texas's bullpen, 9 outs. Does Texas typically get 9 outs from their bullpen without giving up at least 1 run? Probably not very often. So, yeah, hopefully our bullpen can lock it down and we get this rally going. In fact, it might be Raleigh hat time. I've been saving this. I've only got one piece of Orioles swag out here. Or swag. Sorry. I say swag. That's a different kind of thing. An old buddy of mine out here who dual citizen, half American, half Thai. He went back to the States a few years ago for a visit. And when he returned, he brought me this hat. And I'm so happy he gave it to me. The rally cap is on. It is time, folks. Folks, all two of you may be listening. We got to get going here. What do we got going on? We got a new pitcher is what we got. It's Josh Boers. So this is sort of, if things go the way they want, they'll have Boers probably go 7th, Chapman in the 8th, and then Leclerc in the 9th. But those are the 3 best relievers in the Texas bullpen. And they're already showing Chapman getting loose in the pen. Aaron Hicks set to lead it off. And the first pitch bounces in there all the way to the backstop for ball 1. It'll be Hicks, followed by Frazier and Cedric Mullins. So you do have the benefit of 3 straight guys from the left side of the plate against this right-handed pitcher. And this one's up and in. Not even close, 2-0. Both of these pitches, both the breaking ball in the dirt and then the gas up and in, look to have been overthrown by Boers. He might have a little bit too much adrenaline out there. That would be good for us. Low and in, ball 3. Okay. Okay. I got the Raleigh cap on. All right, you know what, folks? This is where I'm probably going to start freaking out. Let's go. Let's rally. Aaron Hicks. Ball 4. Outside. Leadoff walk. Let's go. And you know, again, I don't want this thing up over here. I can't look at this. You know what? Give me a photo of Brooksie. Just give me a photo of Brooks. Let me just look at Brooksie here on our shoulder. That's what all I care about right now. I don't want to see anything spoiled. Mullins is at the plate. The pitch. Low, ball 1. Yeah, I feel better already. That scoreboard thing, I feel like, well, that's the standard thing you do for a YouTube sports stream. And most of the time I probably will stick with that. But right now, it's all about emotion. And I don't want to have anything spoiled. Adam Frazier at the plate looks at another one outside 2-0. So you bring in Boers. Again, you got Hicks up there. He's a switch hitter. But if you have a lefty in there, he'd make Hicks bat right-handed, which makes him a little less dangerous with that wall out in left field. And then you immediately have Mullins and then Frazier, Frazier and then Mullins. So basically 3 left-handed hitters. Why don't you bring in Chapman for this inning? This might be the first bad move by Bochy. The 2-0 in the dirt, 3-0, and Boers cannot find the strike zone. I'm going to have to turn this volume up just a little bit because they got to be going crazy there. And there's strike 1. Ooh, look out. All right. It's a 3-1 count. Hitters count. Runner at first. Nobody out. The pitch is swung on and missed. Boy, a challenge fastball. And Frazier was not up for the challenge. Frazier is a smart hitter. He may not deliver, but just stay out of the double play. He does hit it in the air here. Right field. Garcia's got to play and makes the catch. Wow. So just when it looked like Boris was on the verge of imploding, a 4-pitch walk followed by, what, a 3-0 count? Able to retire that batter. And now the batter is Cedric Mullins. First pitch is in there. A breaking ball in the inside corner for a called strike. Mullins is lined out twice, so he's hit the ball hard. Just hasn't found any grass out there yet. Runner first, 1 out. The pitch is upstairs, 1-1. Hey, folks, if you're watching, I appreciate it. I'm an amateur at the whole sports streaming thing. I'm just a diehard Orioles fan. I run another type of content on my channel. Here is a foul ball by Mullins. And the count, 1-2. Normally I would have this game day app open on this side, but unfortunately my broadcast is too far behind and I don't want anything spoiled. 1-2 to Mullins is on the way. And he chases one in the dirt. Cedric Mullins strikes out and there are 2 down. My goodness. This inning had gotten off to such a promising start. A leadoff walk. Next batter gets ahead, has a 3-0 count, 3-1 count. Next thing you know, 2 down and a runner at first. Oh, wow. Okay. We have a situation. We have a situation. Brandon Hyde is going to lift Ramon Urias for Ryan O'Hearn. So what's the idea here? Does he come in and then maybe Mateo comes in to play in the infield? Move Gunnar to third, put Mateo at short. Or maybe you move O'Hearn into the outfield, but who would you take out? And is Bochy going to stick with a righty with O'Hearn up there? It appears he will. O'Hearn has been a blessing for much of the Orioles season, but it has to be said he has really struggled down the stretch. I feel like he's only had 1 or 2 hits in his last 30 at-bats or something. He's ahead 1-0 right now. Tying run at first. The pitch is in there. A nice breaking ball for a called strike. One incoming. Is swung on and missed. Some wild swings by the Orioles batters in this game, it has to be said. If that's the one thing that they look a little bit deer in the headlights, in over their head sort of situation, it's been the wild swinging at the plate. And thankfully, Bortz follows up with another pitch that's so far off the plate, O'Hearn can't help but take it, and now the count even at 2-2. Tying run at first. The 2-2 pitch is tapped foul off to the right. We'll do it again. Bortz is already about to throw his 20th pitch here in his inning of work. Trying to get through one inning of work. The 2-2 pitch is a called strike 3 right down Broadway. Wow. Wow. What is the point of bringing in your best pinch-hitting, left-handed, power, slugging, extra base hitter if he's just going to stare at a fastball down the middle for a called strike 3? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was really bad. Whoa, look out. That was extremely bad. Oh, why did you do this, Steve? Am I going to continue to do this for the whole postseason? Is the whole postseason going to be a grand total of 3 games? Is this over by Monday night? When I was planning on spending the rest of the month doing this? We needed this game 1. I'm not saying we're out of it. I should say we need. I shouldn't say needed, but we need this game 1. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. Bradish is out of the game. Heaney's out of the game. Advantage Rangers. They got into a situation where Bradish couldn't pitch 5 full innings. Well, Heaney went out there and gave up 1 less run. Heaney did a better job at the end of the day than Bradish. But really, it's more about the ice-cold Oriole bats outside of Anthony Santander versus a Texas lineup that seems to have several guys that are in the mood to hit or take a walk. Yeah, they're pressing, and this is depressing, Larry. Another thing that bothers me is that I sort of made a promise to a buddy of mine who unfortunately left us about 12 years ago now. He was a huge Red Sox fan, and I was a big supporter alongside him for the 2004 Red Sox run. He got to go all the way to St. Louis, get a World Series ticket for the clinching game for his beloved Sox. And I know if he were still around today, he would be extremely, extremely excited and just there in my corner to see these Orioles break what has been about a 40-year drought. And we are ready to go now with Jorge Mateo indeed coming in now to play short, moving Gunnar to third, just like I thought. And yeah, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Because now O'Hearn is out of the game entirely. And now offensively, your lineup has a little less punch. I mean, Westburg's already out of the game. Urias is already out of the game. By the way, D.L. Hall's still out there on the bump, and he's got a 2-2 count on Lowe, the lefty. It'll be interesting to see if he goes beyond this batter. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Look, folks, I may not know everything, but I know D.L. Hall belongs in the 8th or 9th inning. His stuff is good. He is really coming into his own. I trust him more than Heaney or Cano. I really do. I mean, I would just call him the out-and-out best closer. Oh, here comes Tyler Wells. So this is the hope, is that you go to Wells and then you can get to Cano. Maybe If you need a lefty in between, now you got CNL Perez. I just think they need to flip-flop the DL Hall and CNL Perez usage. You had Colomb come out there early, understood. Then I think you go Perez in the spot that we just saw Hall, and then you go Hall late. I will beat that drum all postseason. Boy, I really could go for a snack right about now. DL Hall was absolutely electric today, yes, and has been. Like, I seriously think that Brandon Hyde's biggest mistake in putting together this postseason roster was keeping Mike Baumann out of the roster and putting Brian Baker in his place. I mean, here we got a game where it's been a bullpen game already. Both starters out before 5 innings. And if it's going to be like this for the entire series, I don't want Brian Baker out there in one of these situations. I feel like he's going to do worse than Jacob Webb already did today. But Mike Baumann, I'm not saying the dude is like some kind of secret weapon. But the fact of the matter is that the dude won 10 games out of the bullpen when not even on the roster for the full season for a reason. He just has the makeup to be the guy you want to bring in there in that like 6th inning or so when the starters have been pulled, and you want a guy who can maybe giving you not only just an inning, maybe an inning and change, maybe 2 innings. Either way, it's Tyler Wells now. After being probably the best starter for the Orioles, at least in terms of notoriety in the first half of the season, there appears to be an issue in the outfield with the wall. There's some security with the outfield wall open. Oh, there's one extra cop that's just out on the field and when he shouldn't be. Okay, a little bit of a delay there. Trevor Bauer. So Josh Young steps in, homered in his last at bat. Do not give this guy. And man, Wells gives up home run balls. That's his major weakness. As good as he was in the rotation first half of the season, that was his one bugaboo, was the propensity to give up the long ball. And as a starter, you can afford that over 4 or 5 innings, giving up a solo shot. But you can't afford to give up a home run out of the pen in a 1-run game. Well, he does get Josh Young here to pop up. He goes to shallow right field, and Hicks, jogging toward the line, makes the catch. 2 down in the top of the 8th. Texas ahead, 3-2. And I am exhausted. This is not easy. How do people call a whole game? God. Uh-oh. How do people do this? What in the world? Stand by, folks. You never quite know what might happen here. Okay. Yeah, Larry, you heard me say that already, right? Like, as soon as Ryan O'Hearn came in to pinch hit for Ramon Urias, that was the move, which I wasn't excited about because if Ryan O'Hearn doesn't produce there, now you got to have Mateo in the lineup, and he's not a good offensive player. So now you got less offense in a game where you need runs. You need to come back. I want Mateo as a pinch runner. Like, that's the only job I want him in. Pinch runner. Maybe come in to pinch hit for like Frazier or something in a situation. Either way, the Orioles get out of the inning. My apologies for not calling that last play. But who was retired there? Wells was able to retire somebody. He struck out Leody Taveras. Okay, well, there you go. So we're going to the bottom of the eighth. The Orioles have due up, the top of the order. Now, this is interesting. It seems like Bochy wanted to go Borse in the 7th. He had Chapman warming up, apparently for the 8th, and then is going to go Leclerc in the 9th. What about Taveras? So, but you look at who the Orioles send up here in the 8th, and you think to yourself, wouldn't the righty here? I feel like Chapman would have made more sense in the previous inning. When he had Mullins definitely up. You had Frazier in there who had already. Yeah. And then that would have kept O'Hearn from coming in as a pinch hitter. But as it turns out, he couldn't do anything with his chance. But yeah, now you got a righty, 2 switch hitters, and then another righty. And then you're going to bring in Chapman for this? Okay. We'll see how that works. And let's say he lets 1 runner on base. Faces 4 guys, gets the 3 outs. Then in the 9th, you're bringing in your righty Leclerc with Gunnar Henderson due up, followed by Hicks. And then, yeah, a bunch of lefties. Yeah. They should be bringing in Leclerc now. They should have either used Chapman in the previous inning, but I can't complain because Bortz came in and pitched a scoreless inning, even though he didn't look very good. But here it is. It is Chapman indeed. 6.23 ERA, 1.77 WHIP, and this is one of their better relievers. We got to rally here. Come on, Baltimore, let's go. And I don't want this thing up. I don't want any info. We're gonna just stare at Brooksy here. Don't let me know what's happening. I want to feel the magic. I can't have magic if it happens when I'm not looking. All right, this one's upstairs, outside, 2-0. Chapman. I would love to see implode. Come on, this is rally time. This is what we do. Come on. I'm feeling subdued because it is 4 a.m. and I live in an apartment building. I'm not trying to make a ton of noise, but that pitch is nowhere near. It's 3-0. Come on, you get the leadoff runner on, and it's rally time, baby. Come on. Let's go. The 3-0 is upstairs, not even close. Take your base. Austin Hayes is on. Chapman comes out and throws 4 absolute wild pitches. Nothing even worth taking the bat off your shoulder. And now you got Adley. Now, if there's a guy who can get over the fact that he's 0 for 3 so far today, hasn't really looked good at the plate, it's Adley. First pitch is upstairs, ball 1. And that's the other thing. If Chapman wants to get his command here, he's going to have to be careful because Rutschman has a great eye. You better throw a strike. I'm in Thailand, Larry. And they gave that a called strike. My goodness. A breaking ball that apparently caught the outside corner on the high up and away corner. I don't know. 1-1 to Adley. The pitch in the dirt, and it gets away from Heim. And it gets away enough for the runner to advance to second. Here we go. Okay, the applause is coming in. Tying run now in scoring position with nobody out. And Rutschman, you know what your job is here. Get the runner to third. Get that runner to third. We got the hottest hitter in our lineup, right? Santander's due up after. We got Santander on deck. Get that runner to third. The pitch, low. 3-1. The time is now. The Oriole rally time is now. Come on, man. Come on, boys. Let's go. The 3-1. In the dirt, ball 4. Take your base. Back-to-back walks from Chapman out of the pen. And again, I don't understand Bochy's thinking. This is the exact segment of the lineup where you want a righty out there. It worked for them in the previous inning, but it almost felt like he was like, I'm going with Bortz in the 7th, Chapman in the 8th, and Leclerc in the 9th if I have a lead. I'm not playing matchups at that point. And right now, I'm not sure if that's the right call. Well, we do get a first called strike here to Santander. Crowd is feeling it. First and second, still nobody out. Now, this is huge for Tony. He's got to be feeling confident, but you got to make sure you move the runners. And, oh, no, this could be 2. It's a double play. That's the moment. That's the moment where you feel like maybe you're not the team of destiny. Santander has been Mr. Offense today. All he has to do is keep the line moving. Even if you strike out, okay, we got 2 more cracks at it. The one thing you can't do there is hit a ground ball without any oomph on it. I'm not giving up yet. Chapman, I'm not giving up yet on this rally. Chapman has still been wild, and Mountcastle is the 3rd best power hitter against left-handed pitching in baseball. So you got the right matchup. If anything, they're just going to pitch around Mountie. But it's a 1-1 count. The pitch, it's low, 2-1. Honestly, Chapman should walk Mountcastle here. I know it doesn't make sense to put the go-ahead run on, but the splits on this matchup between what Mountcastle does against lefties and Chapman's command issues, this one is in the zone, and Mountcastle gets a swing on it but fouls it off. And the count 2-2. We need the clutch game-tying hit. We need it. We need it. I don't want to wait till the 9th. I don't want to wait till the 9th for a rally. We need this. Oh, a deke run from third. Here's the pitch. 2-2. Upstairs and struck him out. Chapman throws one 5 inches above the zone. Mountcastle chases. Chapman strikes him out like vintage 10 years ago Chapman. And the Orioles fail to rally. We head to the ninth. Texas 3, Baltimore 2. I mean, I'm not saying we're out of this game yet. There's just no reason to think that way. This team doesn't have the quit in them. They may lose, but they're not going to just fold like a cheap suit. Somebody's going to try to put a good at-bat together in the ninth. I don't care. Somebody's going to try to do something. But if we do wind up losing this game, man. "40-year drought." I just want to pin it. Can I just throw that out there? If we don't win a World Series, I'm not worried. It's been 40 years since we won a World Series. But it's also been 40 years just since winning the pennant. And winning the pennant means something. Maybe it means more to me than the average fan of the modern era, but I put a lot of stock in winning a pennant. And it's been 40 years. And it's our first 100-win team since the Earl Weaver era. That's even earlier than the 83 World Series team, since we had a 100-win team. This is a special team, man. I don't want to see them look like the Rangers just sort of outdid them. I think we're a better team. Yeah, Josh Young has definitely been the stud in this game. The home run, that is the difference in the game right now. Plus, there weren't like human highlight reel plays at third, but he made like 3 or 4 above average plays and made it look easy, including turning a huge double play there in that last attempted Oriole rally. So here we are in the top of the ninth, and we got a 1-1 count on Marcus Semien. And a swing and a miss. Wells still out there on the mound. I would imagine if he puts Semien away, he still stays out there for Seager. I just don't see a point in bringing in a lefty for Seager because he hits both lefties and righties with equal success. There's just no reason. Because then you got Grossman right after that. He can't hit righties. So just stick with Wells here as long as he's getting outs. And he does get an out with a strikeout. Yeah. I mean, you don't strike out a pitcher or a batter like that. A professional. But Hyde is coming right out. I don't like this. Are you going to Perez just to face? They are. Folks, do I need to bring up the splits with Corey Seager? Maybe I play too much MLB The Show, but Corey Seager is just as good against left-handed hitting as he is against right-handed. And you're looking at Wells out there. He's throwing seeds. He just struck a guy out with authority. And now you're going to bring in Perez for what? Just the one batter? What happens if we tie this game? I mean, we've gone through our whole bullpen at this point. Suddenly, it's the Jack Flaherty show. It's just, yeah, I know they're bringing. Larry, I don't know if there's a huge lag, but yeah, I mean, that's what I've said as soon as Hyde walked out. I'm like, well, they're bringing in Perez because why else would he be walking out there? Why else would they be walking out there? He's over tinkering. He's overdoing it. Hyde is overdoing it. Okay, where's Corey Seager's splits? Hold on. Here we go. Those are home and away splits. I want the lefty righty. Okay. All right. So, I mean, the numbers are better against righties, but look, 291 against righties, 280 against lefties. Okay. Slugging 536 against righties. That's great. But he's slugging 512 against lefties. And 1,000+ plate appearances. Basically has a 2-to-1 plate appearance. Look at that. 1,000 and a little bit to 500 and a little bit. Basically a 2-to-1 righty to lefty plate appearance. This is since 2021. This is 3 years of data. He's got precisely double the home runs. So basically, he hits for power against lefties just as much as he does against righties. The only thing that's different is that his on-base percentage is a little bit down. Maybe he doesn't draw as many walks. But that's not why you bring in Perez here. Hey, thanks for the raid, guys. And I would normally have the game day graphic up here to give you guys a nice visual on the side. But I'm sorry. Hey, thanks for subscribing. Wow, a Rhino raid as well. My stream got off to a bad start, and my Orioles are down to looking for one more rally, man. It's been a really frustrating game, and this latest move by Brandon Hyde, I'm just not happy with. But here we go. Perez does get the first strike on Seager here. It's 0-1. One down, nobody on. Rangers up 3-2 here in the top of the ninth. Perez's next pitch is over the plate but low, 1-1. I guess the Houston Twins game is already underway. I see a 1-0 score for the Astros. 1-1 to Seager. Is a breaking ball swung on a miss. Seager was fooled on that swing. So that looks good, but be careful. 1-2 pitch is low and away. Perez looking for Seager to chase, but that one started off the plate and only broke further away, so Seager wasn't looking to bite. Thank you. I'd have a better stream if I were winning right now. Thanks, everybody, for hanging. And now we've run the count full, haven't we? Yes, we have. After getting ahead 1-2 on the best hitter in the Rangers lineup, it's now a full count. And again, you bring in Perez specifically for Seager, and it's just low. And please show me a replay of what the umpire has called ball 4. And there you go. And there you go. This is now Jacob Webb comes in. First batter he faces gives up a home run. Perez comes in for a situational move. First batter he faces, a walk. I mean, Brandon Hyde's moves tonight, his bullpen moves, including taking Bradish out when he did, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Thanks, Rhino. I'm grinding away. I'd love to engage with chat. I'll try to, but I'm too busy I'm okay. Oh, there's a nice pitch outside corner, belt high, and Perez is able to get ahead of Grossman 0-2. Yeah, the emotions, and I'm just feeling gutted already. The prospects of going down a game in the series when it's at home and we have our ace on the mound. When Texas has to go with, like, again, if they have a healthy pitching staff, Andrew Heaney is not even in the rotation. He's the lefty long man. And yet he comes in here and basically, there's a called strike 3 from Perez. There's a called strike 3. Well, Bucks hanging out in Flushing, guiding overpaid, underperforming Mets team, I guess. I love Buck Showalter. But I'm not about to take anything away from Brandon Hyde overall as doing the job he's done this season. It's just, everything's magnified in the playoffs. And, he's just been a little too trigger happy with the playing the matchups. Maybe not using the right guy in the right leverage situation. And Perez buries another strike in here to Adolis Garcia. The slugging right fielder for the Rangers is behind 0-2. 2 down, runner still at first. Perez trying to get out of this 9th inning without any more damage. Due up for the Orioles in the 9th, it'll be Gunnar Henderson, Aaron Hicks, and Adam Frazier. So Leclerc is getting up and loose in the pen and will be called upon. Oh, Perez wanted that one. Looked like it caught the plate, maybe a little bit low. Count runs full. Runner will be able to take off with 2 down from first base. The payoff pitch from Perez. And here it is. He struck him out. He went with the gas. He pumps. He's pumped. You know what? We're down a run. We're going bottom of the 9th. But I just got a bit of a sense there after a few shots of some of the Orioles. Gunnar Henderson, Adam Frazier. They look like they were ready to score. I think we can do it. Gunnar is going to lead off the 9th against Leclerc. This is going to be Gunnar's first at bat against a right-handed pitcher today. And I'm here for it. So if playoff magic and Orioles magic is what I think it is, I totally envision a game-tying, lead-off, bottom of the 9th home run from Gunnar Henderson coming up. Let's go. And I am starving. I haven't even had so much of a snack or nothing. I'm learning. I'm learning how this whole thing works. I'm learning I need snacks within arm's reach. I've got some good pita and hummus on standby, but that's what I'm supposed to do. Sit here and eat pita and hummus on camera. Oh, I'm starving. I want to rip into it right now. I got to wait. I'm willing to wait 3 more hours if the Orioles can just tie the game and we got to go to the 15th inning or something. I will go on a hunger strike. Just get us back in this game. Good old Lowenstein. Oh, the days of growing up with home team sports with Mel Proctor and John Lowenstein on the call. Lowenstein was such a great color guy, such a good sense of humor. All right. This is it. Come on. I mean, if it's Orioles magic, what more do you want, man? We're down 1 run We got Gunnar coming up. Leclerc's got a good slider, but a slider can a little bit, Larry. You know, when he was in a platoon in the outfield back in the early 80s. But mostly from watching like archived games. I was too young to like really follow the Orioles, unfortunately, until the later 80s. Here we go. Gunnar Henderson stepping in. He struck out twice and popped up, all against left-handed pitching. First pitch from a righty is over the plate, but low. Let's go, Gunnar. Professional at bat, Gunnar. You're leading off the 9th inning down a run in a playoff game. You got to do whatever you can. And he strokes one into right field. Just strokes it into right with a base hit. That's how you start a rally. Let's go, Gunnar. Okay. That's if we're going to do this, that's how you start doing it. Sure, a game-tying home run, take all the anxiety away instantly, but this is why I love the game of baseball. It could get truly magical. Aaron Hicks. You got to think about situations here. You can't just go up there without a mindset. You have a plan, Aaron. He takes a pitch in the dirt for ball 1. It's all about getting that runner moving. Look for a hit and run situation. I'm not saying Gunnar should go for a straight steal or not, but if he can pick up on Leclerc, if he can pick up something. This one's over the plate but low, and Heim throws back to first, trying to pick off Gunnar at first. Accurate throw, strong throw, but Gunnar's back in there. And that's just the kind of play. I swear to God, in my notes here, I've got notes about what to look out for, and one says, mind Jonah Heim on the base running angle. I said, we got to use our base running to our advantage as per usual, but mind Heim, he's good. And that's exactly the kind of situation. Like, don't get picked off. Don't try to swipe a bag unless you really think you got it. It is 2-1 on Aaron Hicks. Henderson at first, nobody out. He's going. Here comes the throw. And he is out. God damn it. He's not even close. Rally killer. Rally killer. Mind Jonah Heim. Mind Jonah Heim. Mind Jonah Heim. God damn it. It's just so frustrating when I just know what things to not do. And everything is coming to fruition. Hicks strikes out, 2 down, nobody on. It has been a problem with Gunnar Henderson this season. I mean, he has done things that have helped us win games with his aggressive base running, and here we go. It's a grounder to third, and Young, you know he's going to make the play. Game over. Texas goes ahead with a 3-2 win and a 1-0 lead in the division series, best of 5. They go into sold-out Camden Yards, having to have played already in the wild card. Had to use their back-end pitcher to start against our ace, and they beat us. Josh Young is your player of the game. There's no doubt about it. Second player of the game for the Rangers, Brandon Hyde. Larry, I don't know. I don't know if I'm back. I don't know if I can handle this. I'm sitting here trying to chronicle a playoff journey, and if that journey ends by like Monday night, then I feel like I would feel like I have jinxed, like I jinxed the whole damn thing, you know? That was soul crushing. That was soul crushing, man. I don't know how many mistakes I can go over here. I don't know how many mistakes I can go over. Brandon Hyde just... I understand if it's an elimination game, you know, if it's game 5. I understand pulling an ace early and then getting this whole matchup thing going. But it was like Hyde was trying to, like, I don't know. It just, it wasn't as bad as the Blue Jays yanking Barrios in the middle of an excellent start on 47 pitches. It wasn't that level of stupidity. It was just... Again, if Mike Baumann was on this team, he's that first guy you go to when you take Bradish out, in my humble opinion. Well, they brought in Colomb to get the lefty out, but he didn't. He fucking... Yeah, bullpen moves backfired. O'Hearn, I don't even know what to do about Ryan O'Hearn. I don't know if I'm confident with him hitting in a starting lineup. Came in there, got to face a right-handed bat in a position to help out the team. Couldn't do it. Hayes 0 for 3 with a walk. Rutschman 0 for 3 with a walk. Gunnar wound up going 1 for 4. That one hit being the 9th inning leadoff hit that he then ran in to an out. So I'm not even going to give that hit to him. I'll say it's 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Aaron Hicks 0 for 2, did walk twice. Westberg only had 1 at bat. Frazier came in for 3. They combined to go 0 for 4. Mullins went 0 for 3. And, Urias had a hit, but then O'Hearn came in to pinch hit for him and struck out. By the way, Oriole batter struck out 7 times. That's fine. Ranger batters struck out 16 times. So maybe that's an indicator of something. Maybe we need to be pitching to contact rather than trying to strike guys out on this Rangers team. That makes me scared about Grayson Rodriguez. That makes me think Kyle Gibson might be our best bet at this point. Gibson's a pitch-to-contact guy. You know, he's not looking to strike you out guy. He's not a power-on-power guy. Grayson is. I could see Grayson getting lit up if Texas continues to look like they did today. Even though they only put 3 runs on the board. They hit a lot of hard balls. They got 8 hits, 5 walks. I mean, again, it wasn't like an offensive explosion. But if we're going to not be scoring more than a couple of runs a game, which has been the case since, 2 weeks of the season left to go, then we're in trouble. And now we got to basically look at the last 4 games, if it were to go 5 games. Whatever happens from here, it's advantage Texas now in terms of the bullpen or the rotation, because we don't have Means, and now we put Grayson out there, but he's going to go up against Texas's ace, Montgomery, another lefty. Another lefty that we have to face for game 2, who looked fantastic in the wild card. So then you're talking about what? If we don't win that, down 2 games, having to win 3 in a row and take the next 2 on the road? I know the Orioles are good at coming back, but that's a tall order. And then you got to go with Kramer for game 3. I don't know. God, losing John Means really hurts. I really thought Means was the perfect kind of change of pace, lefty guy, pitching in Camden Yard dimensions. That would have really benefited us, and yet he's not even available. An elbow issue, soreness, I guess is all it is, but whatever. They said he would be able to come back for the ALCS should we get there, but man, it's a long road ahead right now. I still don't know why Bradish threw a strike to Evan Carter. I don't know why. I don't know why God, I don't know. That's it for me. If you were watching, thanks. Average view duration, 62 views, average you 4 minutes. Wow, I guess I wasn't somebody to stick around with. But I guess you can see where the stream started to pick up after not knowing I wasn't even on. Okay. This was not worth it. Thanks for the raid, Rhino, and the folks that came over. Thanks, guys. And, yeah, I'm out of here. My God. I'm going to polish off that pita and hummus I got and then probably pass out. The sun will be up in about 90 minutes. Maybe I'll get a little nap in. Final score, Texas 3, Baltimore 2. The Orioles drop the opener at home with Kyle Bradish on the mound. Damn. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anthony Santander, if you weren't on this team, dude, this would have been just an absolute debacle. You're the only thing that made this feel like we could maybe win, maybe come back. I mean, honestly, I am talking so much smack about the bullpen, but again, the team as a whole gave up 3 runs. If you give up 3 runs to the Rangers, that's pretty good. I think the Rangers average just over 5 runs a game. You hold them to 3, you're doing your job. So maybe I'm a little too harsh on Brandon Hyde, but I mean, like when he brought Colome in, like, he immediately walked the first guy. And then he brought in Webb. He gave up the home run to the first guy. Then he brought in Hall, and I'm like, and he was great. An inning and 2/3. I mean, really bridged the gap between the early short relief guys and the later ones. But now he's probably unavailable tomorrow. And again, I think he's the best guy in our whole damn pen. I think he's more effective than Cano. So now he's spent until game 3, in all likelihood. We'll probably use Cano tomorrow regardless of the situation, just because you got a day off after that. And you may not wind up using him the whole damn series if you don't use them tomorrow. So you might as well throw him out there tomorrow for something. Pretty much everybody but him in terms of short relief pitchers. Well, I guess Brian Baker is a short relief pitcher. But, goddamn, if they turn to Brian Baker for anything, I don't know. Terrible, terrible. Mike Ballman should have been on this team. Okay, I'm logging off. Thanks, for everybody. Orioles magic. I still believe in it. God damn. Gunnar should have hit second. Gunnar should have hit second in this order. Adley should have hit leadoff. Yep. And that wasn't the right time to pinch hit O'Hearn, because then you had to bring in Mateo. Yeah. Professional at bat, Gunnar. You're leading off the 9th inning down a run in a playoff game. You got to do whatever you can. And he, about a challenger. Get out of the end. My apologies for not calling that last. Best power hitter against left-handed pitching in baseball. So you got the headlines that I've seen. Means should be available for the ALCS should the Orioles make it to the next round. That's good.